Hello, this is my first video blog. It's sort of a supplement to the rest of the blog. As you can tell, the topic today is parenting styles and child rearing in the United States and how it contributes to inequality and the real lack of social mobility that we've seen since the 70s. Um, First, to start out with a little thought experiment. Take a child born to a very wealthy family. The child is provided a nice home. He or she doesn't have to worry about food, shelter, clothing, school supplies, getting to school, getting home from school. All their needs are met and beyond. Their parents are well connected. They go to a private high school and they leave this high school with a 4.0 GPA. They've had ample time to study. They've had access to tutors. They've had access to resources afforded to them by their parents' wealth. They take this 4.0 and along with a hefty donation get into graduate school, maybe Ivy League, Harvard, Yale. Um, they graduate from that school with even more connections or what some people call social capital. They're easily able to gain a job that secures their position in the upper class. Now, compare that with a child born to a poor family. Mom, single parent, works 3 jobs to try and support 2 kids. At age 15, he or she has to get a job so that the house can be warm in the winter, buy their own school supplies, buy their own food, buy their own clothes, provide their own ride to and from school because their parent is working. Now, despite having worked just as hard, if not harder, than the first kid, this student graduates high school with plenty of work experience and a 3.1 GPA. This student applies to Harvard or Yale, and their application is ignored. So they go to a community college. Now, the outcomes here are obviously extremely different. What the primary indicator, pretty much, is what I'm getting at, is the the class you die in is best predicted by the class you're born in. And there's ways, and I believe parenting styles is one of those ways, that we transfer class from parents to children. Another really an interesting article that speaks to this is called Unequal Childhoods by Annette Leroux. And in this article, she divides poor families and middle class families into different parenting logics. One called natural growth on the poor family side, and the other called concerted cultivation. And what she finds is that middle class parents, by putting their children at the center of the family, teach them negotiation skills through discipline, teach them skills that allow them to navigate institutions. For example, asking for a promotion at work or talking to a boss. These are skills that are learned by middle class children that are not learned by the children in poor families by and large. So there's this big disconnect between how the rich raise their kids, how wealthy families, not even rich or super rich, how just well-off families raise their kids and poor people raise their kids, and these vast differences in experiences pass on class, meaning that there are parameters given to you by your parents that dictate how much money you can make and how successful you can be, not necessarily because of your own merit. It's not about merit. It's about what your parents were able to provide for you in terms of human capital, what kind of skills you have, what kind of jobs you can do, in terms of social capital, who you know, whose influence you can count on, whose influence you can buy. I mean, these things pass on inequality from one generation to the next. And I think parenting styles really contribute to the transmission of inequality across generations and the transmission of class, even, you could say. Um, Pretty much what I want to say here is that not everyone has the same childhood, and not everyone is afforded the same opportunities, and these opportunities carry on through the rest of your life. Um, this is part of a 5 blog or a 6 blog series on how the American dream is largely a myth. And I think the next one I'm talking about is the differential access to education. And so I'll probably come back to this childhood concept because it's such an interweaving mechanism, this structure of inequality. Yeah, so hopefully that'll be done on Friday. Thanks for listening.